Hello and welcome to Gaia Blooming GPS. This is where we come and pull cards for the Astro week ahead. I am Mimi and I'm here with Nicole Oman.
Hi.
And we're going to dive in with the moon shifting into Cancer tomorrow, Tuesday. First thing in the morning, really early in the morning. And the moon in Cancer brings up emotional energy. The moon in Cancer is a really great time to really nurture the emotional side of ourselves. And the first two cards that I pulled that I want to show is I pulled the experiencing card and I pulled the Sekhmet card, be strong. And so whatever emotions are surfacing, these cards are saying, hey, you can handle it and you're meant to feel your way through it. These emotions are coming up because this is something that needs to be processed within you. So I also pulled the clinging to the past card. And I think sometimes when emotions come up, that's what we think we're doing. We're like, why am I looking at this old thing? I'm clinging to the past. That's fine. You're not clinging to the past. It's meant to be experienced. It's meant to be processed. I also pulled the miser card. Don't hold it back. This energy, these feelings, they contain jewels for you. See those jewels right there? They contain jewels. That you're meant to experience, that you're meant to show up for yourself and be strong in and through. So really show up, allow yourself to experience anything that comes up for you and let it go. In light of the clinging to the past card too, as we have Venus and Mars trining each other, you may have some old relationship stuff come up too, old feeling stuff from relationships, old men you used to date, old women you used to date. Still, doesn't mean you're clinging to the past. It's meant to be experienced and processed. The final card that I have is the turning in card. So if you're not sure why it's coming up, sit with yourself, be present with yourself, experience what's coming up, and let the information filter on in through, because there's some good work for you, some good like gems in you or for you in this energy. Nicole?
Yeah, as soon as you said the relationship stuff, that's where I feel like I'm going. But I also feel like I'm with this moon in Cancer. Mimi told me that this week we have Venus and Mars trining in fire signs. So what I'm getting with this energy is, if you think about Venus and Mars, trining each other, that means they're helping each other. Venus is love and friends and all of that stuff, the way that we love. And it could be, a relationship, but it's also, I'm getting friends, like really massive friends. And it feels like we're moving on. There's a shifting in friends. And so I have the friendliness card and then the celebration card, which are these ladies. So it might be friends with some ladies. Then I get the fighting card. And I have the intensity card in reverse, and I have shifting and integrity. So this is what I'm getting from all of this energy. With this Cancer, something might be brought to the surface, and you might actually see some masks coming off. And the politeness starts to shed, and people's true feelings start coming out. So if there's something that you had, an issue that you feel like has been underneath the surface, and you might have been frustrated because you might have felt like something was off in this friendship or relationship for a while now, but nobody wanted to talk about it. Everybody wanted to just be polite and keep status quo. Well, I think things are going to start shifting this week, where you're going to have to be honest with each other. You're going to have to have real conversations, and you have to be really honest with yourself of, if you keep yourself in integrity, would they be in your life? And if they would be in your life, then you have to, the relationships need to shift so it's in a higher amount of integrity. Now, if you get a no, that they're not in integrity, if you stay in integrity, then you have to move on. There's a shifting. Now, shifting can feel, it could feel uncomfortable. But once it's over with, once you guys really come to terms with being honest with yourself, not feeling, oh, sorry.
It's okay. He has his own 2 cents to put in about this energy.
Ryan left and he opened up the garage door, and Logan was sitting next to me. So, I know. Hold on a second. hold
He's
that.
just protecting.
It's fine. I'm good. Go ahead, Mimi. I'll mute it.
All right. Well, it's really interesting because what you're saying about this friendship energy, I actually pulled a lot of this for the moon shifting into Leo on Thursday. I pulled, let's see, the friendliness card in reverse. I pulled the morality card in reverse. I pulled letting go. I pulled fighting. I pulled stress. You know, and then I pulled ripeness and success in ripeness, success, participation in upright. Oh, and guilt was also in there. And like that's one of the things. Leo, Moon in Leo is this playfulness energy. And you may be seeing for some of the people in your life that maybe it's not friendliness. Maybe their way of living, the morality card, isn't your way of living, and they kind of are trying to enforce this way upon you. And so these cards are saying, hey, let go of that stress. You don't have to have those kinds of friendships in your life. I found that for myself. I had a friendship that they wanted me to be like how they were. And when I didn't show up like how they were, I was bad. And so this, I feel like, is a call to be bold, show up as yourself, like the politics card. Take off those masks. Be bold. Allow yourself to take the scary path, the path less taken, into exactly what you want, where you can participate with like-minded people, where you can feel good about yourself. I really do feel like, you know, while friends, like you can talk about whatever with them, you know, if you're feeling bad about yourself after your connections with your friends, if this is the stuff that's coming up, the fighting, the guilt, the exhaustion, that's a call to let that go. And so our inner child's like, hey, protect me, let that go. I also pulled from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, the Fork in the Road card. And so I think this is saying, hey, you know, you have a choice in this. You can go this one way, or you can take maybe the path less traveled and move in a direction that feels good to you, that's in alignment with you, so you can really participate in like-minded energy. So my cards really complemented yours, but this is for the Moon in Leo.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting because I was feeling that, and I was like, I wonder if she's going to get that. And then, of course, the next one's, you know, so it's just a build process. So you might be going through more of that. Honestly, I feel like this thing is going to be happening this entire week. And, you know, I feel like I'm going through a bit of a shift with somebody in my life as well. And it's been going on for about a month and a half now, and it feels like it's more going on with me than it is with him. But because I don't know, it feels like this build thing, and I've been grieving this relationship even though I haven't fully went, you know, I think I'm going to go a different way. And if you're going through a grieving process with it, it's because you care. If it feels painful because you want to leave it behind because you know now that you've grown out of this friendship or this relationship of whatever it is, it's, you know, it's one of those things of like, of course you're going to grieve it if you had a connection with this friend. Because you care. I mean, it's only going to show that you care, and you might have to go through that grieving process to realize how much you do care, but how much you care about yourself more, and that you just got to be honest and be truthful to yourself. So these are very interesting cards for this Moon in Leo. Everything is in reverse. So we have the Trust card in reverse. We have the Adventure card in reverse. We have the Letting Go card in reverse. And then we have the Mind card in reverse. So the reason why they're all in reverse, so look at this. You're not trusting to go your own way. And you're having a really hard time letting go. You're still clinging because you're in your head. You're not trusting that this is what you need to do. Trust the letting go process. Let them go. Let them go. Because if you don't let them go, you're going to block your new adventure. You're going to block your new opportunities. You're not going to be able to start new friendships with new people that are more in alignment with who you are. And you know what is why you're in your head? Because you're scared to use your voice. You're scared to be honest with these people or this person and tell them your truth and really stand up for yourself of like, you know, this is right for me. And I know you don't understand that, but I got to move on. And because you're not wanting to use your voice, you know, you're what's the word, paralyzing yourself. You're making yourself stuck in this old energy, and it's just going to keep, you know, sound effects, because you're going to be stuck in the mud. And you know, how long do you want to be stuck in the mud? Sometimes it's great to be in the mud because you're growing nutrients, but at this point I'm not getting that. I'm getting like, okay, you're done with the processing it. You know what to do. You know who it is. You know that where you need to go, and you need to use your voice, and you need to stand up, and you need to make it real. Like you need to set the boundary, or you need to tell them that how you feel. And when that happens, everything will start moving. Either the relationship will hit a new point because you're honest and you give them the opportunity to either stand up or go, okay, see you later. You seal the deal. And once the deal is sealed, either the relationship can get better or you're going to move on to the people that you need more of. And, you know, I think it's happening in that moon in Leo, because Leo is all about, you know, self-love. And this is an opportunity to love yourself so much that you let go of things that no longer serve.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's so interesting as we move on and like just starting in the beginning with this Cancer moon. I feel like you're right, this energy, there's so much around relationships. Our next aspect is Mercury moving into the shadow before retrograde. So we're going to begin to feel those shadow effects. For some people, sometimes for me, Mercury retrograde shadow is more intense than retrograde because it starts like that energy starts moving and I feel it. And I pulled a lot of energy around relationships. I pulled from the Goddess deck, Guinevere, True Love. I pulled ISIL, Undying Love. And I'm going to show you my Osho cards too in a second, but from the Wisdom of the Oracle, I pulled the Mending card. So this shadow period may have, again, some of this old relationship energy, old love energy coming up. So in this, I also pulled the Mind card from Osho in reverse, Ordinariness card, the Sharing card, the Playfulness card, and the Receptivity card. So what I'm really getting from this is like, don't get in your head if this stuff is coming up, just like with the Cancer moon. This energy is coming up to be processed, whether or not it means a reunion from an old relationship, mending it, or if there's some healing going on. Be receptive to this energy that's coming back. Retrograde is such an amazing time, and we're going to have so many planets retrograde because we have Mars going retrograde this week, Pluto's going retrograde next week, Saturn's retrograde. So we have so much retrograde action pulling us into ourselves, pulling us into our past experiences. So between the Ordinariness card and the Receptivity card, receive this energy that's coming in. You know, your mind may want to fight it. I know when this stuff comes up for me, my mind is like, nope, this is what it means. Don't do that. Don't let your mind really take hold of this, but rather let yourself experience whatever is coming up, because you know, we have all these karmic ties with people. There's some kind of healing going on with relationships right now. This may be part of this Venus-Mars interaction going on, and part of Mars going retrograde coming up this week. Allow it to come through. Be receptive of this energy. Don't miser yourself. Don't push it away. Be receptive. Nicole?
Yeah, I have some interesting cards. Hold on. I want to ask one question. Okay, that is what it was. All right, I just wanted to make sure I was reading them correctly. All right, so this is what I get. I have the Guilt card in reverse again. I have the intensity card in reverse again. Then I have moment to moment, and I have sorrow. So what I get from these cards is, as we go into the shadow period, and with these relationships, it's, you know, I'm going to be honest, because I have the control card too. And I think it's the other person. They might want to control you a little bit. And you might start feeling guilty or feeling bad about yourself. But I really feel, I have these other two cards, confidence. Trust yourself. So if you're feeling like you're being suppressed, or like somebody, like this person is controlling and they really want you to believe their opinion more than your own, you need to have confidence that you know what's right for you. I have this feeling like someone's going to try to talk you out of these feelings or call you crazy. Like, you might have been feeling this with a friendship for a while or a relationship, and you're like, no, I feel this way. And they're like, no, it's all you. And you're like, no, it's not. Like, I know there's something going on. You got to trust yourself. Now you're moving up. This is the up card, and this means that your vibration's moving up. So you're having to shed some old sorrow. You're having to shed, where are you allowing yourself to be controlled? Where are you allowing yourself for other people to talk you out of what you think you need to do? That's a big one. And I think you need to trust yourself on knowing your direction. So if you feel like you need to go a certain direction, everybody else is telling you like you're crazy, you gotta trust yourself. It's only a threshold, guardian, because you really are ready to walk this path of what your heart is telling you to do. You do know what's best for you. You do know how you're feeling. You do know something's wrong. You do know something's off. And you can allow other people to sway you in another way. But really, this is this Mercury shadow period. Like, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust the external? The Mercury retrogrades always tell us to trust within. We're getting different. We're learning how to communicate in a different way. That's why our communication, our technology goes out, because it's like, stop trying to go talk to everybody else, go in. And so this is, you might get the external world telling you something different than what you're feeling, but you always have to trust yourself.
Perfect. I love that. So we next have the moon shifting into Virgo on Saturday. And with the moon moving into Virgo, we also are going to have Mars going retrograde and Pluto going retrograde. So even though we're going to still address Mars retrograde, just keep that in mind with this energy. The first two cards that I pulled, I'm going to go with the Goddess and the Oracle, purification and breathe. And I love that with these cards. New vision, transformation, the Fool, and going with the flow. This retrograde, this Mars retrograde, it's going to be shifting our desires. We're going to be kind of changing the path. And Virgo energy kind of likes to have things organized. Like, I do things this way. This is how I want to move. This is my vision. This is where I'm going. And maybe with this retrograde, it's going to shift things. So the organizer in you, the part of you that's like, I have this path set, may need to take a breath, take a moment to step back, go with the flow, tune into your body, allow this new journey to begin, and breathe and purify. Get clean, get clear within yourself. As we begin, this Mars shadow, or not Mars shadow, but Mercury shadow before retrograde, and this Mars retrograde, get as clear as you can in yourself. And you know what I really think with this breathing, for one thing, is one of the best ways to purify yourself. Every time you're breathing, when you're breathing in and you breathe out, you're releasing energy. So breathe to clear yourself, and really be aware of what you're putting in your body and how it's affecting your machine, whether it's sugar, caffeine, alcohol, any other substances. Get as clear as you can, which will help you get clear in how you want to move forward and how you're going to go with the flow with these changing energies that aren't going to feel quite as organized as Virgo may want it to be. Nicole?
Yeah, with this moon in Virgo, I feel like there's something coming through, like even a deeper layer. I have the Fool card, and then I have the Schizophrenia card. So there's a new beginning, but then you don't know where to go. And when I looked at where you need to go, I got the Lovers in reverse and the Nothingness. So these are the decisions. So it looks like there is a shift in the way that you show up for your relationships, but it's so unknown that you don't even know what that looks like. And I have the Letting Go card in reverse again. So you have to let go of the old way that you've been doing it. And then I have the Receptivity card in reverse, and you have to receive a new way of doing that. And what I'm getting, the advice I'm getting, the way to receive the new way of doing it and being able to kind of pull that out of the ethers and that guidance, do some writing and do some journaling. This is the right card. So you might have to do some free writing, also some automatic writing. There's a really good technique that I teach in the Artist Way of you start asking yourself questions, like you just do some free writing and allow yourself to brain dump all the circulating that mind energy that me and Mimi keep pulling. You might need to just brain dump that. Once you feel like you've dumped your worries, your complaints, and your concerns, then you start asking questions in your journaling and just wait. Receive and see if some answers start coming through in that way. Because I think you have the answers of what needs to be done, but your brain, the schizophrenia, is going to make, because you're going to want to go back to the old pattern. This is not a way you've done before. Anything that you're learning something new, so you might be really frustrated. Keep yourself in the moment, because if you stay in the moment, something can surface. I have the surfacing card. Things can start bubbling up to the surface, and you can start learning how to show up to relationships, speak your truth, say what you need, know what you need in a different way. You got to stay really present with yourself and listen to this higher, write it. Right, I'm telling you, I'm a Gemini rising, so I love that whole like communication thing. Like I love writing to get my communication, because I'm a Virgo too, and so that really grounds it in the physical world. So it's not just like I'm having these conversations in my head. I can see the words and I can feel that they feel different than me. And knowing that even the way I write them, the phrasing is different than the way that I write. So I know that there's this higher guidance system that's coming in that can see a different perspective than me and show me how to do it. Like I said, you've never showed up this way before. So yes, it's going to be new. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. And yes, you're not going to know, you're not going to be perfect at it right away. But that's why you're being taught to do it this way, because, well, you got to, because it's going to bring a new level of maturity in your relationships and in yourself.
Awesome. All right, so then Sunday, we have Mars going retrograde. And Mars retrograde, it doesn't happen every year. I think Mars retrograde happens every, again, like kind of like Venus time, 2.5 years, 18 months, 2.5 years, year and a half, 2.5 years. Mercury's in the shadow for me, so the brains have stopped working. But it doesn't happen every year. That's what you need to know. And Mars is the ruler of action, aggression, passion, our desires, moving into our desire. And it's going to be moving, it's going to start the retrograde in Sagittarius, but be moving back into Scorpio, which Mars is a co-ruler of Scorpio, along with Pluto, which is going retrograde on Monday. So, to begin the cards, such Mars-y cards. I got Kali, Endings and Beginnings, and I got Pele, Divine Passion. And along with the cards that I got from Osho, Projections, Change, and Guidance and Celebration, you may, again, have thought you were going in one direction, this is what I want. This is what feels good. And that's about to change. And this may be from projections from your mind. This may have been projections from what other people have told you, and you've kind of let that rule your desires, rule your path. And instead, this guidance is coming from a higher place, and it's coming from that energy of like that celebration. This is what's feeling good. It's okay to change. It's okay to flip-flop. This comes from Gemini rising. Nikki and I both have been in this place where you're in this one direction and suddenly you're like, whoa, what am I doing? That doesn't feel good anymore. So if you find that change happening, it's okay to honor it. This is part of Mars retrograde, reviewing our action, reviewing our passions to shift it and see what really works for us. And I love the card that came with it, with the Wisdom of the Oracles card. I pulled the Serendipity card, and the first line is opportunity aligned with readiness. And that's what luck is when opportunity aligns with your readiness. And so during Mars retrograde, that's what we're going to be really doing, is really aligning our focus, aligning our passions, aligning the action that we want to take, so that we're ready to take it when that opportunity comes up. And people are going to be like, oh my God, you're so lucky. And you're going to be like, nope, I'm just aligned. So really get in line with your divine passion, your own passion. You don't have to follow other people's projections. I think we all have that. We all kind of start on this path like as set by our parents. Like, I think you would be good at this. You should do this. Maybe you want to be an astronaut. And so you're like, I'm going to go to space. I'm going to be a space cowboy. I'm going to go to space. And suddenly you're like, whoa. I'd rather actually be riding horses on the open road, on the range. Get into the energy that lights you up. Feel that celebration. Feel that yumminess. And it may take some review, and it may take some of the writing that Nikki just talked about with the moon in Virgo. Write it out, but really feel into that celebration energy, because the cards are saying there's a change coming. And Kali, this is big change energy. This is big endings. Something that you've been focused on for a long time might be shifting, and it's okay. Nicole?
How long is it going to be in retrograde?
Mars, just looked this up right before we did this, and somehow I still managed to lose. I'll let you know as soon as I find it on my list, because brains.
So I feel like you have had a project that has been weighing on your shoulders for a while, something that you've been moving forward in. And like Mimi said, there's some change going on. And I don't think you're going to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but I think you need a new perspective on it, because it's going, like, you have it directed one way at the moment. And I think you're going to shift it. It might turn, actually, you might make it simpler. It might not be so complex, but what I really get, I pulled a card, I feel, with the Anubis cards. This is the creator of form, organizing principle, master craftsman. So what I think you're going to do is you're going to actually, whatever you have been working on, I think you're going to reorganize it or make it more organized. And when you make it more organized, yeah, you're going to go in a postponement period, which is fine because it needs to go into a postponement period until Mars goes back. That's why I wanted to know. Until Mars.
June, end of June.
End of June. Okay. So from this week, so you're going to have about 2 months to reorganize this entire project. And you're going to want to. It's not going to be something that you're like, you're going to see it from a different perspective. That's what I'm getting. You're going to see it from a different perspective. Or you're going to get somebody, a mentor or something that's going to tell you like, okay, what you have created is great. Now let's just reorganize it, retool it a little bit. And then once you start moving forward again, it's going to be quick and better. What I get from these cards is in this Mars retrograde, what's going to happen is your vibration is going to heighten. So whatever your project is or relationship that you're having, it's changing. It's getting in a higher vibration. So of course you have to reorganize. You're different and it wants to come out differently. But I also have this return of spirit. I think Mars retrograde is telling us return to your spirit. That's where your vibration is highest, and that's where you can create the things you actually want to create. I have a weird card with it. I have the past lives in reverse. So let me pull one more card to kind of get understanding. So I have the conditioning card. So what's happening is you're raising your vibration from the old conditioning, and whatever this relationship or project that you created these last, I want to say it's like 2 years, like you've been creating this for a while now. It's great. You set a great foundation. I won't even say it like an example for Mimi and I. It's like we created Gaia Blooming. So this might be, and it's great, it's doing well, we have a great foundation, but something might happen with us. Now I want to give you this analogy so you can see it in your life, that we might get someone that comes in and goes, hey guys, like this is your next step. And we have to reorganize it so we can take it to the next level. But it's because we're returning to spirit. It's being guided by spirit. So whatever it is, take the advice, don't get down on yourself, and shift it. You'll come out of postponement in June, and the thing will start moving quite well, because it's going to come out of, then it's going to come out of retrograde in Scorpio, that deep, that depth, and then it's going to go back into Sagittarius. And so as soon as it get back into Sagittarius, it's going to go boom, because it's going to have a different direction, and you're just going to have to go, because right now it's going in one direction, and it's not the right one. And then you shift it a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're going to run on this path because it's going to be exactly where it needs to be.
That's going to be really interesting because it moves. I do know when it moves back into Sagittarius, and that's August. And that is also when Saturn will be going direct. So we're going to have a lot of that forward momentum in Sagittarius coming at the end of summer in August.
Well, you know, the visual I get like
the arrow
being pulled back, and then it's like you're about to release the arrow right now, and they're like, wait, don't release it yet. Okay, now, boom, and then it goes shoo. Awesome. That's what I keep getting, is like, you're right, like you're there, but you have to just change the direction. And then once you change the direction, everything is going to move quite quickly. But you have to take that 2 to 3 months to redirect. Don't get down on yourself. I know you might feel frustrated, but don't get down on yourself. This is a good shift. It's a good shift.
Awesome. Fantastic. So do you want to do Pluto retrograde now, or do you want to do it next week?
It's postponement. It's the postponement upside down. What does that mean?
Next week. This is enough energy for now.
Yeah, it says next week. Next week.
Yeah.
Next week. It'll be ready. It's not ready yet.
Perfect. Well, then that's it for this. Just that for this week. This week's cards that we pulled. But you know, hold space for yourself. Hold space for the shift. Check out our daily astrology daily guidance. It's posted on Gaia Blooming on Facebook, NicoleOman.com, Coaching with Nikki on Instagram. I'm gonna give it to Nicole so she can say what else.
If you guys are going through some big shifts, I have a lot of people coming to me right now because they're in this little bit of I feel like they're throwing ingredients in the pot and they're about to stir it and throw it in the oven, if you know what I mean. So it's like they're gathering things, but you're in such a building phase that people are needing a little guidance to really figure out what they're building and how to build it. So if you're going through something and you're having some doubts on how, your relationship, you're putting this relationship together or putting this project, reach out to Mimi and I and let us help you with the astrology and pull some cards and talk to your inner guidance. Because honestly, we don't really tell you anything that you don't already know, but it's really nice to get that outside perspective of your inner guidance talking to you in an external way, just to show you like, I was feeling that was a little off. I'm glad that you said that. Now I can adjust that and then move forward. So if you're needing a little extra guidance, you know, me and Mimi we do readings together. We do them separately. So whatever you're feeling, if you need a little support, reach out. I mean, if you put so much time and energy into either a relationship or project and it's about to develop, isn't it worth it to just spend a little extra money on yourself to get that extra validation and know that you feel confident on what you are creating? It's so nice. I just went to a metaphysical fair on Saturday and I got so much, like, I do this for a living, but man, getting that mirroring from some other people is like, boom, makes me right in alignment. And I'm like, I know where I'm going. So it's nice to have it. And it doesn't matter where you are in your spiritual path, even if you're like freaking amazing and you're doing it all the time, it's always nice to make sure you have that support from other people too.
Awesome. Well, check us out, GaiaBlooming.com, Coaching with Nikki, or NicoleUllman.com, and get the support you need, especially with all this retrograde, turning us in, asking us to like do this work. This is a lot of retrograde planets at once. So yeah, we're going to be kind of in the trenches doing the work and working through some of that old stuff. Anyways, thank you for joining us this week, and we will see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.